I think all of us have had very interesting experiences with young ones, and we could go on quite a while speaking about them. But there is a story about a child psychologist who began his practice with 4 theories and no children. Some years later, he found that he had 4 children and no theories. He learned that there was quite a bit to do. It was a lot to do to raise a child. It was far more than just a few theories. And this was a comment that was reported by psychologist Bruce Naramore and published in The Awake of April the 8th, 1981. So theories about child raising come and go. And the best counsel on raising a child, of course, is found in the Bible. We know that because it's been there for thousands of years, and it's consistent. It's consistently successful. There's another interesting point, that there is 4 times as much counsel given to children in the book of Proverbs as given to adults. That might surprise you, but that's what I read, so I believe it. Proverbs 22:6 is a familiar scripture for all of us. Proverbs 22:6. And here it says, "Train a boy in the way he should go. Even when he grows old, he will not depart from it." Is that true? Yes, it's true. Does it mean that in every case, a boy that's well trained by his parents won't depart from it? No, does not mean that. It's giving a general overall view of what will take place if a child is trained properly by his parents. And what it is, this is an interesting brief statement, from the Watchtower of 2008, April 1st. If a child is trained according to the Bible's counsel, the parent or parents are creating the most favorable circumstances to bring about a marvelous result. That marvelous result is a faithful servant of Jehovah God.
That marvelous result is a faithful servant of Jehovah God. That's what we're aiming for, folks. When it comes to raising children, it's all about making sure they end up becoming Jehovah's Witnesses. We're watching the comments of William Malenfant, a governing body helper on the teaching committee. He's making a cameo in the April 2022 JW Broadcasting episode. And I think William Malenfant is an interesting specimen. He's someone that I recall growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, if only through his voice, because he has quite a distinctive voice, and I can remember his voice being used to narrate various dramas and some videos, because occasionally they would make videos even when I was growing up. So he's someone that kind of has embedded himself in my childhood memories or my consciousness of my childhood. I think he's also an example of someone who is, quite frankly, growing old disgracefully. If you're going to ask me what one of my worst fears is, it's that I grow old disgracefully. And I'm not just talking about doing things that are a bit crazy now and then or being a bit eccentric in my old age. I'm talking about spouting utter nonsense as an old person. I mean, you think of people who have grown old gracefully, who truly are wise or were wise. You think about the likes of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You think about the likes of Nelson Mandela. You think about the likes of David Attenborough. People whose wisdom shines or shone in their later years, so that they were truly respected. Their experience was made to matter. William Malenfant is someone who has never had children and is using his appearance in this video to lecture parents on how to raise their children, even though he begins his talk with the following.
But there is a story about a child psychologist who began his practice with 4 theories and no children. Some years later, he found that he had 4 children and no theories.
Isn't that the entire point, William Malenfant? You've given a perfect example of why you need experience in this area. And again, I'm not saying that you don't get an opinion if you've never had children when it comes to child raising. There are some things that are fairly intuitive and some things that are just common sense. But if you're going to be handing down wisdom, if you're going to be handing down parenting tips as far-reaching as your child needs to be in this religion, you'd better have some experience to back that up. And William Malenfant brings none to the table, just as with the majority of the rest of the Jehovah's Witness hierarchy. In fact, it's just Tony Morris, as far as I know, who has children. It could be that there's another governing body helper who has somehow managed to have children during his rise up the ladder. But as of now, my knowledge is that Tony Morris has children and no one else. I'm happy to be corrected on that. So he's literally giving an example of why his words have no weight, but apparently his words do have weight, because there is one authority on parenting that works all the time.
So theories about child raising come and go. And the best counsel on raising a child, of course, is found in the Bible. We know that because it's been there for thousands of years. And it's consistent. It's consistently successful.
It's consistently successful. Everyone who has ever been raised according to a fundamentalist interpretation of the Bible has had a successful childhood and has turned out as a well-rounded, well-balanced, happy individual. I think there will be many people watching this video who are strongly in disagreement there. It simply cannot be said that the Bible is the final word on parenting. In fact, some of what the Bible has to say on parenting, stone a child who is disobedient, is criminal. You just couldn't do it or you'd end up going to jail. So again, he's growing old disgracefully, isn't he? He's spouting utter nonsense. And I love the part where he said the following.
There's another interesting point, that there is 4 times as much counsel given to children in the book of Proverbs as given to adults. That might surprise you, but that's what I read, so I believe it.
That might surprise you, but that's what I read, so I believe it. That's the attitude he has. I'm pretty sure he's not referring to reading just anything. I'm pretty sure he's not referring to reading things in the newspapers, in encyclopedias, in worldly materials. I'm pretty sure he's referring to total credulity just when it comes to Watchtower publications. And as it turned out, I did look up the article he was alluding to. He's alluding to the 2006 Watchtower, September 1st, page 20, where it says, interestingly, while the book of Proverbs makes many comments about the parents' obligation to bring up their children in the right way, it contains over 4 times as much counsel for young ones to listen to and obey their parents. No citation given from any reference work from any Bible scholar. Maybe it's true, who knows? but just this whole attitude of, I read it, so I'm going to believe it, coming from a man as old and experienced as William Malenfant. Quite frankly, he should know better, but he's saying it because that's the sort of attitude you need to have in order to rise in the ranks in this organization. If you're going to make it as a Jehovah's Witness, particularly if you're going to make it all the way up to governing body helper level, what you're going to need is blind faith and total credulity in everything you read in Watchtower publications.